Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is a place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Friday, so you know it's time to talk tech in English. We're here with the Tech Divas for Tech Life Weekly. We want you to sit back, relax, get ready to receive some information that's going to help you do business better. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. She has us everywhere on the internet: Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. I'm so excited. So I'm hoping that you will sit back and join the conversation. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. We'll be joined shortly by our additional hosts, Dr. Tachi, all the way from Florida, talking media, and TJ, all the way from New York City, talking social media in all places. So with that, we're going to get this started. How you doing, Fran?
I am well. I am well. And we're going to jump right into this week in tech history.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, um, the first bridge over the Mississippi River, January 23, 1855. The first bridge over the Mississippi River opens in what is now Minneapolis, Minnesota, a crossing made today by the Father Lewis Henningpin Bridge. We think, see, why is history important? Because it kind of establishes the foundation for everything that we have going on now in our lives. So
Mhm.
somebody figured out how to get a bridge across the Mississippi River.
I noticed that that bridge was in Minnesota. Wasn't that interesting? I was like, oh, okay.
I think cold when I think Minnesota.
I do too. I was like, okay. Maybe they could have walked across, but
And that was probably it. They needed something to get across.
on a
And
regular basis.
well, yeah, because that's the purpose of a bridge. Okay.
Hmm. And
Uh,
to transport goods and services. Go ahead.
January 23rd, 1996, Java released. Coffee drinkers are confused. The first version of the Java programming language was released. The ability of Java to write once, run anywhere made it ideal for internet based application. As the popularity of the internet soared, so did the use of Java. Because, yes,
Mhm.
Java is also another word for coffee, but this was a programming language. Um, the last contact with Pioneer 10, January 23rd, 2003. The last successful contact was made with the spacecraft Pioneer 10, one of the most distant man made objects in the universe. Pioneer 10 is heading in the direction of the star Al- Aldebaran in the constellation Taurus at roughly 2.6 AU per year. If Aldebaran had zero relative velocity, it would take Pioneer 10 about 2 million years to reach it. So whatever they put out there, it went. It's flying out into space somewhere.
So it's still out there. We got
It's still out there. And
space
the
junk.
last time we had contact with it was in 2003. So it's probably moved beyond our communication range.
Ah, oh, okay. They lost the signal. I've had
Well,
that
it's
happen.
floating. It's floating out there in space. It's like, how are you going to bring it back or whatever? There's no. We flung something out there in space, and now it's just kind of floating wherever.
Okay, that's
January
encouraging.
24th, 1950, the original microwave oven patent was issued to Percy LeBaron Spencer under the title Method of Treating Foodstuffs. 5 years earlier, Spencer accidentally discovered that microwave energy could heat food when a chocolate bar in his pocket melted while he was experimenting with a microwave tube. Okay. Microwave tubes tubes were originally designed for radar systems. Okay, something would have been the problem when the chocolate melting in the pocket and you
And
touch
I'm
it.
messing around with radiation. Yeah, I agree. You think you would have got a clue, but it was 1800s. And remember when the ladies were painting the dials on watches, and there
It was
were
actually 1950 that he did this. But
oh yeah, you would
still,
have learned. Was that after? Because that was after they discovered that the ladies died from radiation from licking the brushes because they were lighting up the numbers on watches, and they would do this to the tip of the brush to make the brush pointy, and they eventually began to die from radiation poisoning. So you would think he would not want to put that close to his pocket. And which pocket was it? Was it close to other parts of the body? People, please pay attention.
and see, that is why history is important, because it teaches us to pay attention to stuff. Now you're not going to do the radiation thing again, getting it close to different parts of the body. And I'm going to mention something here, and I want to know, hey, Pat, I'm going to mention this. It's like, for them to do mammograms, what are they using to look for the things?
What isn't it a form of X-ray?
It's radiation. I was like, excuse me. And then they tell you when you're signing the paper that it could cause cancer. I was like, okay, so you are trying to tell me to use this to help you identify, but it could cause cancer. Okay, see, no. Anyway, that's just me. I like common sense stuff, and that's just my
rant
common sense thinking. I just don't understand. If it's going to cause a problem that you're trying to prevent, why would I do this?
Why would I expose myself?
There's got to be a different way. You guys need to think of a different way that it's not going to cause a problem. That's all I'm saying.
Terry's in the house.
She'll jump in when she gets connected up. Okay, so let me get back to my other story. January 24th, 1984, Apple Computer Inc. launches the Macintosh computer with a demonstration of the computer in front of 3,000 people. While the Apple Lisa was the first commercial computer with a graphical interface, the Macintosh would bring graphical computing and computing in general to the rest of us. As Apple's early slogan for the Macintosh was claimed. While not as commercially successful as Macintosh DOS and later Windows, there's no doubt that the innovation of the Macintosh pushed the entire computing industry ahead and continues to do so to this day.
I remember that little Macintosh.
It's like a little square box.
It's like a little square, what would you call it? Beige box.
Yes, it was quite ugly. Not like the ones we have now.
The form factors have definitely improved.
Yes, because that gray box was like, ooh. I mean,
do you remember how pretty they looked when they made them sort of ovally looking?
With blue and orange and some other, they changed it because let me see, I have a picture of it.
Yeah.
What it looked like back in the day. And you're like, ooh, man, that was gorgeous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked almost like an Etch-a-Sketch with a little box in the back. Yeah.
Yes. And so, yeah, that was quite interesting. And so my last story here, January 24th, 1986, the interplanetary probe Voyager 2 makes the first flyby of the planet Uranus. During its study of Uranus, it finds 10 previously undiscovered moons.
Okay,
and that's your week in tech history.
I declare that one of those moons will be named Terry. How about you? Agree with me, Terry?
Hello, everybody. Happy
welcome,
Friday.
welcome aboard.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. We want to give a shout out to everybody watching on the replay too. We usually do that at the beginning, so I just wanted to get that in to let you know we appreciate you if you are in fact watching on the replay. But yeah, so 10 undiscovered moons. That's interesting. I thought that was an interesting fact.
Yeah.
That there's always something new out there that we, well, not new, but something that we don't know about, something
Yep.
undiscovered
Yes.
by us.
And,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and as we were talking earlier, this history has set
Mhm,
the stage for a lot of things that we're doing, either to help us
mhm.
not make the same mistakes, like
Okay.
don't put water and electricity together, okay, or to help us improve upon things that we have now. So that is your week, and tech history. Jay said I learned computers on the brown box computer in high school.
Wow.
And maybe how many kilobytes was it? And we was all happy, like, ooh, okay. After you had to go to coffee, go get lunch and come back and it
For it to bring the message back. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, guys, I do have a couple of things I want to kick this off with, and
Okay.
one is the first one because I know you're going to love this because Terry likes wearables, and Fran is a fan of Apple Watch. It says Apple Watch gym partnerships give you perks for working out. So Apple is launching a partnership program for gyms today called Apple Watch Connected. That's meant to highlight chains that integrate it with their wearable and offer perks to the owners. It says in some cases, perks include discounted memberships and gift cards for people who regularly work out, according to who is this? CNBC. And then it says for a gym to get the Apple Watch connected branding, it'll have to do these four things. It'll have to have an app for iPhones and Apple Watches that offers information about their class times. It'll have to support Apple Pay to buy things at the gym, and it'll have to have some kind of perk for wearers like membership discounts, etc. And their fitness equipment has to be able to sync up with the watch, at least something in the gym. Not necessarily all of it because they know, we're asking for it all. We don't want to ask for everything all at once, but their watch syncs with a thing called Gym Kit, which sort of their treadmills and their ellipticals. So you would be able to track it with your watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was an interesting partnership there because I'm all about collaboration, TJ. They drilled that into me before I left the government. Let's collaborate. Let's stop having everybody do one thing over here, then we got to go to the next building and the next building. So I like the idea of these partnerships. It says Apple gets gyms that not only better support its product but go out of the way to offer perks to customers, and gyms get customers who may be more likely to stay with them. So it says here it's free for gyms to join the program. And it did list a couple of the gyms. Here's a couple of the gyms. At launch today, there are 4 Apple Watch connected gym partners: YMCA, Crunch Fitness, Base Camp Fitness, and Orange Theory. Um, this will also only be live at select locations within these different gym, what would you call them, chains. Crunch is the only gym offering membership discounts for people who work out regularly. Orange Theory is offering the gift card perks, and the YMCA will donate class. I like this part. Donate classes to kids. Base Camp is advertising a program it already offers that can give subscribers an Apple Watch for free.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, but which series?
I
Which
have
series?
probably the $200 one. I don't know, But you never know. If they're in partnership with Apple, they might give them an upgrade. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, because there's Series 5 is out now, so
So
you can get an Apple Watch. It can be a Series 3. It's still good.
There you go. So it says here, tie-in with gyms is Apple's latest attempt to associate wearing an Apple Watch and being fit with saving money. It also worked in the past with health insurers to offer discounts to people who wear the watch. The integrations make sense given the focus on fitness, but they also mean that people who can't afford a watch that starts at $200 that connects to a phone that starts at $499 miss out on these different discounts.
Okay.
Well, okay.
I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, really and truly, because we always talk about Apple products on the show because they work well together. But if you're health conscious, I said when I got mine, I really did not want an Apple Watch. I was like, I don't need that. But once I got one for Christmas and I put it on and saw the things that it could do, and I was like, okay, I'm in. Because if you have the phone, you don't have to carry the phone. If you have the watch, you can make calls, because it picks up from the phone. Also, there's the health benefits of, there's a thing that makes you, if you've been inactive for a while, the watch knows that you've been sitting or laying down for a while, so it tells you to get up. That's a health benefit, because there's been studies showed that having a sedentary lifestyle, it cuts your life expectancy rates down. So it's good. And I see it also, there's a lot of tools, like if you want to go outside and walk, there's the thing that lets you time how far and all of those things health wise, that if you're on the fence about buying one, and I said earlier, there's five versions of the watch. You don't have to get the latest one, which is 5. I can go back to 2 or 3 and still get the benefits. I think 3, not 2, but 3, which you'll get one at a discount, like they're saying, you get the discount. So you get the health benefits of it. And you have to really take a look at your life and say, am I really health conscious? Then I need to invest in the tools that's going to help me live a healthier lifestyle. And if you have to put out an additional cost in the beginning, then that's what you do. There are other Fitbit and
other,
but they don't work with your phone.
What would you call them? Would you call them watches, or would you call them just monitors?
They have a name for it. I can't think of it. They have a name for the Fitbit and all that. They fit in the category. But if you really want to have the benefits of the health and to work with your phone, then I would get the Apple Watch if you already have the iPhone. There's some comments over here.
I was gonna say, let's get some of these comments in. How you doing, Brenna? I'm gonna start up here. Can you start up here?
Start at the top.
With the floppy disk thing from Jay. Jay says he remembers the floppy disk. I do too. And Celia says she loves the laughter. Good morning to you too, Brenna. And let's see what Pat has to say. Pat says, I remember mag cards and also the diner plate and floppy disk.
The huge 5 1/4. Yep.
Wow. Wow, I was not familiar with that. Same here, 5th grade. I remember when the school got a brand new Apple computer.
They were partnership with education a lot. Yeah.
Yes, my children brought home a Macintosh. They loaned it to them. They were in preschool, and they loaned them to the parents in the neighborhood. We signed it out, and then they had a computer lab once they started 1st grade. So it was interesting. Let's see what's going on here. The following year, when I was in 6th grade, came the brand new Macintosh computers. Well, that's rude. What if I'm feeling lazy that day?
She's talking about the watch. Sometimes I ignore it, but it gets my attention is the deal. You can turn those things off. You don't have to, get the alert.
Okay. It says, I like the heart app. Oh, over there on the watch. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a heart rate. It takes your heart rate and also your EKG. your pulse and everything.
Wow.
Heart rate, yeah.
Heart rate. Okay, and then what is this?
5 1/4. No, she's talking about the 12 inch. Yeah, Pat, you're going way back because I don't remember the 12-inch floppy. I remember 5 1/4.
Wow.
That's what I came into. With 12, you taking it way.
I remember the
back.
2.25. I don't remember the. Let's see here. I had a Fitbit, lasted a year and a half. I killed it.
She's rough with devices. Yeah, I the watch I had before this one. I banged in a lot of walls and stuff, so it had scratches. So now you have to be really conscious because I'm like, hey, you got this, you spent money with this thing, so you got to remember when you're swinging your arm, it can, if you're in tight spaces too.
Well, you know something? I wash dishes. I wash my dishes by hand, and before I know it, I will have submerged that puppy several times.
Oh, but they're waterproof. They're waterproof.
Yeah, allegedly.
No, they're waterproof. The 4 and the 5 are. That's another selling point.
Okay, so I need to make sure I get the right version.
The 1, 2, 3 are not submergible.
Yes, I have ruined so many watches over a lifetime because before I know it, I have stuck my hand in some water. So I wanted to mention that. Then I wanted to mention that Tinder now has an alert. You can set up an alert to let them know where you are and who you're with.
Oh yeah, I saw that like a panic button in case of emergency and you're in.
What happens? The problem I have with this, ladies, is that that they just sent the SWAT team to somebody's house
always
house,
yeah,
because of a false alarm. So what if you get involved with somebody who's just mean-spirited? Now they got them down on the ground, face down, with the boot in their chest, tell them what you doing to so and so. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, people. But they do have a little icon on it to let the person that you're going on the date with know that you're alerting Tinder where you are.
Okay.
Which I thought made it better because at least the person can decide whether or not they want to deal with that list.
I think that alert should go past Tinder, though, that it should alert somebody
just like because,
right, because like in Uber there's something in there that I put people on my safe list or whatever that I can let them, I know that I can let Terry or my husband or somebody know where I'm at
and who picked you up and that kind
and because it'll allow them to track my location as well.
Okay.
So
and I think that's a good thing for both parties.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
So it could be a defense in case you got some drunk that gets in here and wants to allege that you did something to them, or that you took their wallet when they left it at the bar and they never left home without a wallet.
So there's a lot of nuances that are happening in this, this is a new space. And so the rules are being established.
Well, since we're talking about Uber, let's talk about Uber and the change that's going on over there.
In California.
Yeah. California has passed a bill.
85?
85, yes.
Okay.
And it is trying to establish whether or not the drivers are employees or independent
contractors.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's passed.
Yeah, it passed on January 1st. It's in effect.
And so now they're classified as employees. We don't know what the fallout is going to be because it's kind of crazy.
Well, Uber has allowed some of the drivers in different areas they're testing it out to establish what their prices are going to be for different fares. Because if it's not set by the company, then that helps them pass the test for not being employees. They're private contractors because they're setting their own rates. Because they have certain criteria within the bill that they have to pass in order to be considered employers.
Okay.
Versus independent contractors. And if they don't meet all four, then they're good. So one of the things that's going on now is they're allowing people here in Sacramento to establish rates just from the airport only. So,
Okay, to pick up from the airport.
Yeah. So they can either lower the rate or up the rate or whatever. So now the conversation begins. Go ahead, Fred. There's like,
well, because now it makes things messy. It's messy now.
It does.
Because now you have to figure out, okay, so let me tell you what happened. This was in January, I do believe. Okay, so from church to my house, it's normally to take an Uber, right? Shouldn't take that much, but whatever.
Okay.
I went out and was gonna book an Uber from church to my house. It said $45. And I looked at that again. I said, this has got to be a glitch in the system. So I closed the app, opened it back up. It was $45. They said there was rates are unusual. And I'm like, you're kidding? No kidding, Sherlock. Yes, I'm not paying you $45 to get to my house. So, and I eventually just, stuck around in about 20 minutes in normal rates. But I don't know if that had anything to do with drivers setting stuff. I don't know what it was. I'm like, it's Wednesday. There's shift big at 8:00 at night. The arena going on. What is the problem?
Availability was not an issue.
So, right. So
maybe they're letting the drivers
if you let them pick,
it might have been part of that whole experiment to because
exactly
they have
that's not a good experiment.
Well, it's not a good experience for the customer. And I told you I experienced it because an unusually high rate when I was in Texas. We were coming from a conference and I was trying to get back to my daughter's house. They wanted $192.
What?
Yeah. And of course I downloaded a different app and it was $26. I'm like, I know it's because it was pouring down rain. And I'm sure there was an availability issue, but it wasn't in my DNA to give them $200 to get home.
So they're setting the price because of the event, like it's raining hard. So we're going to up. That's just not right.
Because there are people driving, so I think it's an algorithm that goes in there and says, okay, these are the number of cars available in that area, and here are the weather conditions, and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So, just like when you book an Uber at 5:00 in the afternoon and everybody's trying to get home from work, the price goes up. I don't know. Do you have that in New York? Well, because we definitely have it here.
Yeah.
It's called surge pricing.
Yeah, surge pricing.
Yeah. Right. So yes, it's a surge. So I'm sure that's based on some kind of algorithm. And I'm sure
I can see rush hour at 5 p.m., but it's 8:00 at night and it's a rainstorm. Let's surge price, but there's nothing going on.
Yeah, and it's a holiday and it's a da-da-da. You know what I mean? So all of those, it was like the perfect storm, I guess, for that algorithm. It's like, okay, let's just charge the limousine price.
And so at that point, because and you mentioned the limousine pricing Black for the same amount of money, I'm still not paying $45 to go home. I'm just not doing it. And I don't like the pink mustache people, so I wasn't going to call them. I don't feel confident with them, and I'm not everybody. The rest of everybody, okay, but I just still,
that's why there's choices. Yep.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm like, so, but I waited, and it went down. So the whole law in the state of California. And they're not just doing it for Uber and Lyft. They're doing it for a bunch of. They're trying to set independent versus non-independent contractor situation.
Right.
Because as a real estate agent, if I have somebody coming to work for me or work with me, they can't work for me. If they work for me, they're an employee. If I tell them what time to come in, when to be there, all of that, they are employee. But if they're working on their own time, their dime, whenever they want to come in or whatever, then they're independent contractors.
Right.
And so they're trying to change the definition of some of the industry for what is considered an independent contractor. So now we got delivery drivers that are DoorDash,
all these
of the
gig
rest of them.
economy people.
I was like, that is just kind of jacked up that you're going to make them do that. And when I was driving for Uber, I did not, don't tell me when I came. So now I have to work when you tell me I have to work, or I have certain amount of hours. I don't want to do all that. The whole reason is I'm a soccer mom. I want to go and pick up my kids at 2:00. I want to turn off the thing when I want to turn it off.
Right.
Not when you tell me I have to.
Yeah, and I don't know what the criteria is. I didn't get a chance to actually go and dissect the bill because they said there were 4 criteria they had to meet in order to be considered employees. But I know the real problem. The real problem is that you get these folks in a gig economy who want the benefits of full-time employment. They want to go over. They want to file for unemployment. They want to file for disability insurance. They want to file for workers' comp.
But still do this.
Yeah, but they don't want to pay the taxes. They don't want it taken out of their fees. They don't want to be connected to an employer who's going to say, no, you can't have sex in your car when you're not driving with your girlfriend. You understand what I'm saying? Because you represent the company. I mean, there's just stuff that goes along with being an employee. Okay.
Taji, you had something to say, Taji?
Yeah, can we look at it from the other perspective? Because I see all this and it makes sense. But from the employment perspective, there are an awful lot of these gig economy companies that are taking advantage of these workers. Granted, this is what you want to do, and you volunteered to do that. However, there's also the very real possibilities that there's some people that this is what they can do because of English skills, because of whatever the case may be. And I think that some of these companies are taking advantage. I mean, it's way cheaper for the company to keep these people as independent contractors than to actually have them as employees.
Agreed.
So, and as such, some of them can do. I mean, look how many problems Uber and these other companies have had. DoorDash, Postmates. Take any of these where the workers have complained to high heaven about the conditions, the tips thing. So they're like, oh, okay, well, now we'll give you tips. So they've been really, this is my feeling. It's probably been coming for a while in terms of regulating, because guess what? The state is not exempt. They want their money too. Let's not pretend they don't. But I think that the biggest issue, or the big thing here is that, what was the big thing? It's gone now. But I think that people, they get taken advantage of too, just as much as they may, quote, take advantage of the company.
Agreed.
So I think there's another end to this, the fact that it's cheaper for companies to keep independent contractors because all they have to do is 1099 them at the end of the year, and I don't have to pay any of these benefits. It's much cheaper for them. And as such, they have a, well, take it or leave it attitude. You don't have to drive for us. We could do whatever, because there's 10 million other people behind you waiting to drive or waiting to deliver or do whatever. So the fact that there have been numerous complaints by people who drive or deliver for these companies or do whatever for these companies shows that there's something wrong there. And the only way you usually get a resolution to bad treatment is by legislation, because companies on their own, they don't believe in corporate responsibility.
Right. Self-regulate. But the comments with Brenna and Anna.
But you know what? Somebody put the comments up.
Oh, okay.
What I found too is that these companies though have really been a lifesaver for a lot of people. They have provided stopgap work for people who are between jobs, or for college students, for stay-at-home moms. You would be surprised how much they have been able to help people. I think they've been more of a help than a hindrance, because a lot of people would not be selected for employment if they had to be screened. Okay.
So Anna says that
And
Anna
it's
says her,
protected. Go ahead.
Anna, hi Anna. Anna says her husband will be pleased to be an employee. He's in a contract. The company has had him on contract for like 2 years, 6 months at a time. He's not a freelancer. He has to deal with a temp company. And then Brenna says it's messed up. She's going to attend a meeting that wants to overturn the bill. A guy with cerebral palsy is organizing it because many times people with disabilities can't get stable employment, and companies take advantage, thinking people with physical disabilities are also mentally disabled. That's a problem.
Right. And that brings up a point. There are times when I get into the Uber and they tell me that this person is deaf, the person that's driving, so that I might have to, make sure that I'm communicating so that they understand.
Right.
But that person being deaf would not have gotten a job somewhere else.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, the gig economy has really been a lifesaver and a safety net for a lot of people in protected classes. Seriously. And it's going to hurt them. This legislation is going to hurt them.
Now on Dr. Tachi's point, yes, they need to fix the stuff, but I don't think they need to go to the full gamut on the other side and just mess the thing up. But they do need to correct the errors or the things that they need to take care of. They should, you know what I mean? They should come, okay, we're going to pay you whatever's right. We're going to do these things and make it right. And but the other side of that, they shouldn't just, the legislation shouldn't just go far left or far whatever direction it is.
They
just
need to meet in the middle
over there.
They need to meet in the middle and have a resolution that's satisfactory to both sides. Not perfect, but satisfactory, where one side is, okay, we are good with that, and the other side, we're good with that. So I don't know. A lot of that is conversation.
And a lot of things can happen because the company has to cover the costs of regulating on who's going to take the taxes out, who's going to do this, that, and that, administrative costs. Now, are we now back to taxis where now you have to pay so much to drive for us because we got to have infrastructure that we didn't have to have before?
Yes. Sorry.
Do you feel me?
I do. Two things, because this is the same argument that we've used with this overabundance of streaming platforms and people longing for the days of cable because you're just told what to do. So that's why I keep predicting that if they're not careful with all this abundance of streaming, people are going to go back to the quote, not quite traditional cable, but something that may look like traditional cable, just backtrack. Yeah. Exactly, the safe choice. Exactly. So I think, I'm sure the taxi industry is hallelujah-ing right now because they've had a problem with the ride sharing since the beginning. So I'm sure that they're really happy about that. Number one,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're the people who are promoting these so-called protests.
Sure.
Go over there and drive for them, and then start a protest over here to unionize this puppy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. But number two, I think there's also another thing there at hand. The fact that when you have, let's take the university for example. So the universities, when you look at the classes that are taught, the overwhelming majority nowadays, depending on what major you have, what school it is, there are a lot of adjuncts that teach these courses. Why? Because universities then don't have to pay you or consider you like a full-time tenure track employee. So you've got the tenure track positions, you've got the faculty positions, but then you've got an overwhelming amount of adjuncts. You don't get 1099 because you are an employee of the university if you're an adjunct, but you're at will. So they could decide, we don't need you this semester, so please, you better not stake everything, your mortgage on the fact that you're an adjunct at XYZ University. But my point is, isn't there a middle ground where that could be an answer? You have some slots that are employee slots for drivers, and then the rest are kind of like adjunct drivers, what you've been doing now. And so I think that's and
they make the choice.
Yes, exactly. And then you make a decision as if you want to be employee or you want to be independent. You make the decision, but not the state of California making that decision because they're gonna make it in favor of them getting a little
And
something
it's going to be
every
blanket.
time.
It's going to be blanket because they're not going to try to be picking and choosing and running your company for you.
Right. And that was the thing I wanted to I want to decide when I drive. I know I'm responsible for doing my fees. They're gonna send me a 1099 and okay, some people are not business minded. Then you need to be the one getting the employee stuff and letting somebody tell you when to drive and whenever, because you need somebody to tell you what to do.
Right. And
that's not
business
my
opportunity in that by starting a business that helps the people that are in the gig economy to say, okay, I can help you with this and organizing that and your taxes and this and that, so you don't have to worry about it. There's a business within that too.
Right.
Anna's comment is about the adjunct. She says one of her daughter's college teachers was an adjunct at three colleges just to make ends meet.
Yeah,
that's the way it works. Most people, if you're adjuncting, you are teaching at more than one college in order to make ends meet. And then the whole thing is because if you're lucky if you have a position where it's relatively stable, where every semester you're going to get some, but then what if the class doesn't make? You have to have at least, at most universities, at least 5 for the class to run. And if it's under that, they were like, well, we're just going to cancel the class, which means you don't have a gig for that semester. So that's a whole other conversation. My feelings on the universities and the slave labor they like to use. But, and then, the thing is, I think the difference is there between the gig economy in terms of driving and delivery. And what adjuncts do is like the university sets the rate for what you make. And often it is not a good rate. Some places you're getting, you may be teaching an 8-week class and there's some places that will try to pay you $1,200 for teaching 8 weeks. So multiply that.
That's disgusting.
It's very disgusting. Wow. But the thing is, because there's more supply than there is demand. There is this is why I keep telling people, why do you need to get a PhD? What is it for? Because what's going to happen is you're going to enter this system of adjuncting because there are not enough positions for everybody who comes out with a PhD or some kind of doctorate for a full-time tenure track position. There are not enough. So you end up getting into this system. And there have been all sorts of things. There are people that are really almost living in poverty because of that, yet they have a doctorate. So that's a whole other conversation.
And they have student loan. Okay, so
they have student loans. Yes,
right. And see so now the whole university system we already know that's an issue.
Correct.
And it has been an issue. They've been doing it's almost like the taxi industry. They've been doing it for a while. And I was
working on the public school system too.
Right. It's been that way.
Unions have had a lot of pushback.
Right. And education is a really big business. And yes, you learn a lot and you get some great experiences, but it has been a big business. And like I mentioned about the University of the People, somebody needs to talk to them about their marketing, but the University of the People, they got regents from Harvard and Yale and Oxford and everybody else sitting on the board, but you don't pay
Harvard price.
The student doesn't pay like you would if you were going to those other places, but you can get your degree.
And this is the interesting thing of like the University of the People. I've been kind of on their radar for a while. And at one point I wanted to volunteer to teach for them, but they were all, full. So all of these things were created to disrupt. The favorite word now is disruption. So this gig economy was created basically to fill a need, but disrupt the traditional industries where there was no competition. So now you have competition. So now you have to do better. You see taxis. You live in New York, TJ. So you see them. They're doing a little better. They're a little bit nicer when you walk in. Good morning.
Yeah,
really?
It shook them up, especially if they
spent
all the money in these medallions, and they thought it was, I'm set. I got the medallion, I got the yellow cab. Here comes Uber and Lyft to disrupt everything and woke them up, which jacked
up the monopoly.
The disruption should be there, but like we're saying today, it has to be fixed. Okay, what's the fall? Okay, now we got the fallout. Uber's doing this and that. What's the fallout? It's got to be equal on both sides. So that's what we got to figure out now. We got to look through the mess of, okay, it's been disrupted, but now we got to clean it up and make it fit for the state taxes, for federal taxes, for the
if they want to be employees,
right,
the contractors and the company. Everybody has to be happy, and we're not there yet.
No, because that ain't. The people are definitely not happy.
Well, there is no perfect solution. And remember, all of this also depends on how much the consumer is willing to pay for these services. That is the bottom line. So you all can have this conversation all day long. But if consumers are not like you, willing to pay $45 to go to church, it's a no-go.
Exactly. And the other thing is, if it can always go underground like it always did. I mean, they're just jitneys. The truth of the matter is, they're just jitneys.
Come on, what?
Okay, glorified jitneys with a logo.
Okay. And then, Terry, maybe if they had a Tinder panic button or something, we might have jumped on the jitney when we was in New York.
Yeah, I'm familiar with jitneys.
They were pulling up, and it was $1. I mean, it was because we were trying to figure out, why is this lady standing over here? And the bus is coming in. She didn't get on that bus because it was waiting on the jitney.
The dollar van. Yes.
And he says out the door, jitney, and you can see people sitting in the van. So I knew what was going on because I've ridden jitneys in Pittsburgh.
Right.
But
but there was no panic button. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I figure with all them people on there, only
you don't want to get up with this just one person.
Yeah, okay. But it was full. But anyway, ladies, so we got some comments over here, and I didn't mean to I always take us down these rabbit holes.
Terry be starting stuff. Brenna says, I see that with Costco. Someone keeps wanting Costco to unionize. I don't see why. I work for them, and they had amazing benefits, great pay, and vacation. Some unions are almost mafia-like. Okay. And Anna says, I'm glad Costco was good to you. They try that with Walmart all the time, and they are fighting it. Overall, they were good to me and offer flexibility in hours.
Yeah. So you have two stories there.
Right.
Walmart is fighting there. The thing about unionizing is because, now the company has to smarten up and do things right by the employees because there's a collective body that they have to answer to versus, we don't want you guys to unionize.
Well, here's the other thing. When people unionize, as a consumer, you may have to put up with some really bad attitudes because it's hard to get rid of union employees.
True.
Very.
That's true, but not only bad attitudes, high prices. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, the reason these employers nickel and dime everything is with Walmart, they like to keep things low. Walmart rollback and all this nonsense. Low prices. But who suffers for the low prices? Somebody always suffers. Good and damn well that $3.98 for certain things is way too low. So who's not getting paid in order for that to happen?
Whose child is chained to a sewing machine in a
factory comes from China, the land of low wages. So pennies a day.
So that's also a social responsibility that we have to so I tend not to shop at the W because at the W.
I don't have one,
and this would and we have them, but number one, I'm too hooked on Target. But number two, the low prices be damned. When I first got to the university I was teaching at before, I was asked to be on a panel for there's a book by Barbara Ehrenreich called Nickel and Dimed. Have you read it? So Nickel and Dime, Barbara Ehrenreich was a professor, still is a professor, and she did an experiment. She had to live on minimum wage as if she was a minimum wage person. Now, if something really happened and she had to dip into her professor salary, she could, but she basically had to live on it. So she worked for, she said, a maid company. We know it was Mary Maids. She called it something else. We knew it was Walmart. And it was really investigating how workers pay the brunt of the price for us to have cheaply priced things. So ever since that, I mean, not like I ever shopped at W anyway, but ever since then, I've really been like, oh no. So there's a sense of responsibility that we have to start to have for things to really change, but they don't change because we seem to be okay with it, and that's not a value judgment. It just is.
Well, here's the deal. I know that one community of color rejected a Walmart here in California, and they just went somewhere else. So that community did not have those jobs within walking distance. People were, the yin and the yang of everything. But that we're not going to social engineer the country in this conversation. But
no.
you know what I mean. But so what we do is we do our best. We make socially responsible decisions, like Dr. T, and do the things we need to do. Okay, so I want to get these comments. Can someone put these comments up?
Yep, I got
it. Okay. Go ahead.
Let's see. Okay. This is Brenna. They want you to pay into the system, and if you're not high enough in the ranks, you're not going to get priority for employment, but you still have to pay these dues. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you about dues in a minute.
Okay,
in my industry, and I'm independent. After I go through these comments, I'll come back. Remind me about dues.
Okay, and says, go ahead. Go ahead, Fran.
She said, wow, my son works better than their union guys. He's learning how hard he can work. And then Brenda says, but unions are have beneficial aspects too. Yes.
Yeah, the good ones. The good ones do.
Right. And then this comment, everyone was brainwashed by Walmart, lowered people's perceived value, but they wanted American made. Well, so let me tell you a little bit about Walmart. They have a system where you can pay to put your products on the shelf. They don't go out and necessarily buy the products to put on the shelf. People bring their products to them and pay for shelf space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
position. Yeah.
Right. And so American made, it depends on where the other people who is bringing the stuff to put it on the shelf, where they got it from. It's not Walmart buying American made or not buying American made.
Made in America, yeah.
Right. Walmart is the distributor. It's not necessarily.
And I don't know what the definition is, because now we got government regulations. How much of it has to be made in America for it to be labeled made in America? Because you bring the part over here and then I put a screw on it and that constitutes made in America? I don't think so.
Well, a lot of businesses are getting parts from China and other places, so you have a point.
Absolutely.
But I think the American made part is that the business has to be owned in America and it's American workers and it's on American soil. I think that's the part where it gets to be determined, because you're going to get your parts from different places to assemble the product.
Correct.
So do we really manufacture anything anymore? And I don't want to have this conversation
anymore. They get it from China.
Listen, I don't want to have this conversation. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where steel used to be made.
Yeah,
right.
And now it's a university and medical center. Thank God they were able to transition into biomedicine, but it was a struggle. Okay.
What? And see, this is a tangent, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Pittsburgh was able to succeed where, I grew up in Buffalo. Buffalo was steel as well, steel and GM, where Buffalo was not. They did not really successfully transfer over.
The only reason they could was because they had established universities there. Duquesne's there, the University of Pittsburgh there, Carnegie Mellon, which is all about robotics. So they were able, and then they built a medical school up on the hill, so that now they had the bio part connected to the medicine part, and they were able to transition and become a medical center and an incubator for robotics.
Okay.
only because they had those other things already
Mhm.
in place.
Right. So somebody was looking forward with this biomedical and tech.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing. There have to be some forward-thinking people. There's going to be a shift in industry. There is always going to be a shift. And if you are you ready for the shift? Are
That's
you
like
ready?
coal.
Because apparently the taxi people wasn't ready for the
And
shift.
that's what I see happening to Uber.
Taxi and
Now
coal,
there's a
right?
shift. You know what I mean? There's a for every action there's a reaction.
Right.
Well, you have to be
When-
forward thinking, like Fran said. You have to be thinking about, okay, we're trying to transition our energy use from coal based to something else to sun
electricity
solar
and
or
solar.
right or wind or something. But you have to be forward thinking to say, what is our city or our area, what is our state going to be about? Because this industry is dying. We need to transition. Like we said, they transitioned into biomedicine and technology and stuff like that. But medicine, somebody has to think about that. And who is thinking about that?
Well,
Well,
and you know what you bring up?
They
That
have
is
every city is required to have a city plan, which is like 15 years in advance. So if you want to know if your city is going someplace, just go on the internet and look at the city plan.
Look at the city plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
it
it's
also tell you where to buy real estate because it'll tell you what cities
right.
are planning,
Yes, absolutely.
where they're going to put roads, and so you know, okay, oh, well, let me get there before they get there.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, these people actually have sewer lines and not what was the yeah. So that's someplace I want to be. So you know, this interesting thing is it's like you said, we can't solve this problem in in one session. And the interesting thing is that it's really easy to look at these things from. So when I say this, because Anna made the thing that she was able to make her family subsist by working at the W, and that's fantastic. So it's not a judgment on people who work there or people who shop there, because there's no one answer. Because for, like you said, for some people it's walkable. For some people that is a job. It's very easy from the standpoint that some of us are coming from to say, well, I'm not going to shop at Walmart because of XYZ. And that's me. But then there's the other end of it. It's like, all right, well, when you don't shop there, what does that mean for the employees who do work there that have to have that job? And then why are we that's one. Number two, when we talk about these city plans and things like that, you also have to have a plan for your citizens, because if you have a whole bunch of jobs that are lower wage, they're not going to necessarily be able to make that transition over to the tech world or to whatever. Are you preparing your citizens for that? So you can say all these things about, oh, we're trying to create jobs. Can everybody work at Google? Is that so? I think we have to have a better plan when it comes to these things for the citizens, not just the city.
Right. You're right. There has to be a plan to get people transition from an old industry that's dying, or we need to transition from because of climate change and environmental things. So you have to do those. We have to do those things. We got to rip the Band-Aid off, but everybody has to come. And that's the part where who you vote for, are they progressive thinking about what's coming, and can everybody come with us? We have to have that plan, and it's a big thing.
But they don't want everybody to come with us. They don't want everybody to come with us. I'm sorry to say like that, because the whole thing is, in order for a capitalist system to work, there have to be people on the bottom and people running things at the top. And even when you go to school, sorry for this tirade, but even when you go to school, even when you go to college, you're not taught entrepreneurship. You're taught to be part of the machine. You are taught to be a worker. That is the way this system works. You have workers and those in charge. And often those in charge are not qualified to be in charge, but we've accepted that this is my lot in life. So you know, it's a whole societal issue.
Now we can get into mindset and showing someone like entrepreneurship, showing young kids that it can be done. The ones that can't see it, they have to see somebody doing it. So then the ones that are doing it have to go into those areas and say, hey, I did this, you can do that. So it has to be a mindset, a whole bunch of pieces of the puzzle that need to be put together. All of these things we're talking about. It's a
Where's my pen?
We need to get water, vapors.
And
Yes.
a lot of this depends. I'm not going to get political. A lot of this depends on who you vote for, not presidential.
Sure.
I'm talking about in your area, your
Right.
mayor, your councilman, the state senators, all of those people. That's the thing that you need to be concerned about. How are they thinking? How are we going to go forward? Yes, there's a lot of problems to solve, but we still got to think about where we're going with the future as a city, an area, a country, whatever. It's just
right. And
stuff to think about.
And you have to determine that depending on who you are and what your life you want the outcome of your life to be. It's an individual decision, and you're going to have to. Well, people will have to decide who they are, what they want to be, and where they want to go, and they're going to have to not buy into the status quo, so to speak. Like Dr. Taji was saying, we're going to school, they're programming you. You don't have to get out of the matrix, Neo. You don't have to be in the matrix. But if you can only see the matrix and that's all you can see, then you're going to be subject to what you see.
Yep.
You're going to have to, and people are going to have to make individual choices like, okay, wake up and see all of the stuff. You be a copper top if you want to.
It's a lot. It's a lot involved. But I always see it as we got to focus on the youth, and like I said, the mindset of showing them, okay, the ones that you're in the inner city or you're in the urban area or you're in a rural area and you don't see but what's around you. You got to be exposed to other things to know, okay, that's something I might want to do. So then somebody tells you the step one, you need to think this way and do this way, or do this and do that. Somebody's got to put them on the path. And
especially because they're gonna be taking care of us.
Yeah.
Okay, I am switching this subject.
So Terry, you want to start all this, but okay.
I'm switching this subject to Tachi. Tachi?
Yes.
Media. The Grammys.
Oh.
Okay, we're going down another road.
The Grammys, what's going
on? So I have the Grammys happened this Sunday or did they happen last Sunday?
February. No,
okay.
This Sunday. Is it this
Sunday?
Oh, the Oscars are February. Sorry.
Oscars are February, so I think it's happening this Sunday. So as you all know, my house flooded. So I have been that's why I was late to notice I'm staying in a hotel.
Well, I was like, oh, you're so
you
were somewhere else.
No, I'm staying in a hotel, and I decided to stay one more night because I didn't know if my house was completely dry yet. So I had to change rooms. So that's why I put in the message, I'll be late because I'm switching rooms.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't, and consequently, I haven't paid attention to, is there something specific with the Grammys that
happened with the, go ahead, Terry.
One of the young ladies, didn't she decide that they weren't doing the awards fairly? Who was that was on the Good Morning America or something talking about?
The Recording Academy head that was filed the lawsuit. That one.
Yes.
Okay, I heard a little bit about that. Deborah Dugan. I just looked that up now. She filed a lawsuit against the Recording Academy with Grammy allegations. She's the first female head of the National Academy of Recording Arts. Mm-hmm. She was placed on leave last week, just 10 days before the Grammy Awards. I think because she was discussing the sexual harassment and gender discrimination against the Academy.
Yeah, and the selection process, she was saying, was not.
She was saying it was something about
it was not neutral. And the decisions were being made to benefit different artists versus talent.
I'm sorry. Is this news?
No.
I failed to see how that's news.
It's just official news to the rest of everybody who's
paying attention. She was on there with her attorney and they were able to actually discuss it. This is stuff that goes on in the back room that usually doesn't get out front because they pay the people off to shut up. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. On the media level. But maybe there's something else we can discuss. What else would you ladies like to discuss?
Yeah, okay.
Well, so let me. I do have something.
Okay.
Facebook. So Facebook Watch. Do any of you watch anything on Facebook Watch?
Not
Only when
really.
something pops up
I don't.
because
Okay, so, well, let me say before you start, if you have Apple TV, the app that you have on there, it says Facebook Watch. It's not Facebook. It says Facebook Watch, and it
Facebook
shows
Watch.
you the video. So that's, yeah, I will say, yeah, I do, but only because it's Apple TV. It's just, it says Facebook Watch,
Oh,
So
And
it's already there.
and it's just
So-
the videos. Yeah,
Right. So it's just a
And-
video. So basically, the answer for most of us is nope.
right.
no.
So, but this is very interesting. There is a very popular show on Facebook Watch, as you know, hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith, her daughter Willow Smith, and then the mother. Oh, what is the mother's name? Adrienne Banfield Norris.
Okay.
So, Red Table Talks.
Mhm.
It is Red Table Talk, and it has been all the rage since it started last year, and
Mhm.
everybody, it's Emmy nominated.
They
It's
got
just
all the views.
they've got great reviews.
They've got
if you. Yeah, they've got all these groups
Yep.
on Facebook too. If you join, some of them, I'm like, did I need to know that about your life? But it is
They
what it
really
is.
TMI.
TMI. I really don't need that
Mhm.
right now. But they're just a cultural phenomenon. This is
Mhm.
really, because this really marks the first time that a digital show, has gotten this much in terms of accolades. I mean, we could see other things and successes, but this is a huge deal. So, as you know, Jada Pinkett Smith and her and her hubby's company, Westbrook Productions,
Okay.
they are one of the executive producers of this. It's so popular that now there is a spin-off coming, a spin-off of Red Table Talk
Yep,
that
I heard it.
they have ordered with Gloria Estefan
Mhm.
from Miami Sound Machine,
Mhm.
her daughter and her niece, and so
Yeah.
it's going to be shot down here in Miami, and it's not that means anything necessarily for people looking for opportunities in Miami, or it might, but it's that just shows how popular this digital show is. So Facebook Watch has ordered another 3 years of Red Table Talk with
Okay.
the Pinkett Smiths. So they're locked in for another 3 years, and depending on how this does, we'll see whether or not they get renewed. Now, not to be funny, and sorry, Miami, I know I'm down here, but Miami stuff sometimes tends to be a little boring. So you think because but I'm hoping that this goes off well and it has the same draw that
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you this. How do you feel? Because I think the draw of Red Table Talk is the three women, Jada and the dog. So I don't know how this can translate well to another family who may not, like you said about the boring Purple Table Talk. Because the Smith family, they have a little controversy with them because of the way they raise their children and some of the activities they do. But that's their life. But they're presenting themselves, so you know that about them. That Will the big star, Jada's his wife. So now Gloria Estefan, yes, she's very well respected in the music industry. She's been in the industry for a long time.
She's a great entertainer.
Yes, they tried to put her on The View one time years ago.
Right.
It didn't gel.
And here within lies my point.
Thank you.
She is a great entertainer. She sings all of that. Her appeal works for a Miami audience.
Right.
For a Miami, predominantly Cuban, predominantly Hispanic audience, it will work. But is that translatable to and let me say this. No, this might work also for other border places, Texas, Arizona, California. Now, that's not to say that it won't work widely. But if we look at the audience for Red Table Talk, who was mostly the audience.
Right.
African Americans and people of color. So it does exceedingly well in that demographic. So I'm just saying that probably that the kind of Miami demographic would be the demographic for this version of Red Table Talk.
Right.
Red Table Talk 2.
Right.
So
And
I don't know how well it's going to do.
And the topics would have to be different topics from what they covered with Jada's family. Their topics would, and like you said, it's Miami based. Isn't going to be, based on Latin culture or whatever, or how are they going to translate this Miami show into something that somebody in Idaho or Kansas or wherever?
But here, okay, so now this is where your what you've been telling us, TJ, about social media and marketing is probably not going to relate to Idaho. So they probably would not present it to the Idahoans.
Right.
No disrespect. They're not, it's not going to go wide. It'll be down to,
it's going to be niche.
It'll have to be niche because
the numbers won't be the same. So if they're thinking, this is what I'm getting. If they're thinking, okay, we got something with Red Table Talk, it's the Smith family, it's done phenomenal. Let's take that set of characteristics and apply it to another set of another family, and it's going to do the same. It's not. It's not. So I'm just saying it'll get ready. It'll do well, but it's not going to do Smith family well because of the dynamics of the Smith family. Also, the Will being an international star. Not to say that Gloria is not one, but there's different levels to it. Also,
well, here's the thing.
We don't know these folks.
Just because I don't like white jeans doesn't mean that other people in the country are not going to wear white jeans. And
correct.
Anna says so right here. She says, I'd watch it, give it a chance.
Yeah, I will too.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to really bring it as far as attention.
For you. See, because you're not going to watch Stewart, okay?
But see, here's the thing.
Napkins. Somebody is watching that.
Well, I know somebody's going to watch it. I'm just saying it's not going to do Red Table Talk, the first version numbers. It's not.
And that's the key point. I think that Facebook Watch is going into this with the expectation that Red Table Talk 1 was such a phenomenon. If you have a spin-off, it's going to be just it won't. It's dependent on host.
It's not going to do Will Smith family well. It's just not.
No, exactly. You're talking about, and this is let's be honest. Red Table Talk initially probably would not have done as well if it was not the Pinkett Smiths on there. Let's be clear.
That's what I'm trying to say. You got to look at them. Damn.
So this is just because a big part of it is because of who's hosting it. A big part of it is, I mean, obviously the topics are compelling. So who's hosting is number one. The fact that they have compelling topics is number two. But with Gloria Estefan and her, I'm not saying that they won't have compelling topics, but you are not coming. She's wonderful and respectful.
They won't it's not, you just plop a family in, and it's not formulaic where you just plop any family in and it works. That's not.
Let me, my mother, and my sister host a Red Table Talk then. It'd be kind of boring, but
add water and stir.
And one thing, Red Table Talk did not really take off like explosion wise with numbers until they did the Jordan Woods episode with the Kardashian twist. That's when the Kardashian fan base came into it and was like, the numbers really blew up.
And let me say this. I don't think they were trying to blow up. I think they were just want to have a conversation. And they called it Red Table Talk because it was a red table and she brought her friends in and they were just having a show. Kind of like what we do here at Biz Chicks.
Exactly.
We were just sitting here talking and that's what they did. And then that one conversation blew it up. Now, if the spinoff is going to do that, where it just gives people a chance to come and hear it, but if they're pushing, what is it?
Virality of it. Yeah.
Trying to make it, come on, we're going to do it again. No, because that was never the original intent for the show.
No.
Now, Anna's got some comments.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where is that comment about? Oh, here it is. This is the one I love.
And you know what I'm saying? Because Martha Stewart can have a show and people would watch too, but is it gonna blow up?
But see here, Anna, they're not marketing marketing it to the Latino community, which I think is a smart. They're trying to do it to everybody who watch Red Table Talk, which is not those two things.
That's not
when you do
the audience.
a Venn diagram with the two circles and the thing overlaps, that's your market. So they're not doing that. They're saying Red Table Talk was a phenomenon, not looking at the dynamics of why it was and what happened, and saying we could put somebody else in there and boom, it's going to take off like lightning. So we'll
That's
see.
what happens.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not.
We'll
I'm
see.
not
I am rooting for you. Even though when I talk sometimes it seems like I want people to fail. I do not. I want for people to win. I want them to win. But I also want them to use the common sense, or as my mother likes to say, if we could only use a little bit of common sense. I want them to know that simply because Red Table Talk resonates with this audience doesn't mean that a spinoff is also going to resonate with that audience, particularly if it's a figure that doesn't. I'm not trying to be funny, but Gloria Estefan doesn't resonate with the Black community.
And Gen Z.
And okay, so that's the other thing. A lot of the millennials and the Gen Zs are coming in because of Willow.
Yes,
because of Willow.
Thank you. Because the Willow and Jaden are. I won't say people are saying they're weird. I'm not saying they're weird. They're just doing things their way, and it happens to be different from every other teenager, so they get the attention. This is the attention of it all. The attention of it all.
And so they wouldn't have the attention if Will Smith wasn't dad, and Jada Pinkett wasn't mom, and they wouldn't have Red Table Talk. We wouldn't be hearing about Willow.
Remember this. I'm gonna say one word. Osbournes. Remember that?
Yeah.
Osbournes, yes.
That's what the Smiths are. Not. I'm not saying because whatever. I'm just saying the attention wise of it, because it was different from anything that was being done at the time.
Right.
Correct.
So they were themselves on MTV, and the world lost their minds watching that show.
Right.
And what they were doing, but they were just being themselves. They weren't manufacturing virality. So this is what I'm saying. With the Smith family being on Red Table Talk, it just wasn't expected to be this big thing, and it became a big thing because of the attention from the Kardashians and this and that. So you have to have that attention factor. It would be I can't think of any other family that would fit into the show.
I can't either, which is why this doesn't work for a franchise necessarily. I may be jumping the gun. This could be wildly successful, and Gloria Estefan will call me on the phone and say, "In your face, Dr. Egwu." So that might happen. We could be completely wrong.
We could be wrong, but I got the same thought that Dr. Tati got when I heard of this. I was like, that's a good idea, but it's a special kind of animal, that Red Table Talk, a special kind of bird, exotic bird, and it works because of the pieces are there. But Will and Jada and the kids got the Gen Z, and they're doing things and they're getting the attention, not on purpose. They're just being themselves, like the Osbournes.
Right.
Being themselves, and the camera has to be there.
And I'm going to go down this road. A lot of people are trying to manufacture their 6-figure income because I did what the gurus told me. I did this and this and this, but it's not authentically you. You were wired to be a banana, but you're trying to be an orange, and it's not working.
That's the key. You got to be you.
Okay. And the thing about
the Kardashians. I don't watch them. I know of them because you walk in this world and they're on the TV or they're in the magazines or somebody's talking about it. It's like they're bringing it. They're sucking the attention, which that's what I like about their brand. That the mother, what's her name, Kris Jenner, that she just decided, or I could do this and get the attention, and all the parts are working like a well-oiled puppet thing.
I have to give Kris Jenner.
Yes, you do.
I have to give her the Nancy Pelosi clap.
Yes,
because
she did that.
She did her thing. I cannot hate on the hustle. Yes, do I think the Kardashians are useless? Completely.
They are.
But I'm not hating on their hustle.
They are. But brand, I look at them, I look at the marketing and the brand aspect of it. And like I said, the Red Table Talk was doing great. But when they did that show with Jordan Woods, because there was something with one of the Kardashians' boyfriends. Did they kiss us? I don't know what the thing was, but it blew up with Gen Z, and they got her on the show talking about her side of it, and the show just that if you look at the numbers on Facebook, that is their highest rated show, like the most views on it, like 6 million or something views. Is outrageous, but you have to have that kind of attention draw with the brand with Gen Z and millennial. Have to be Gen Z and millennial.
So I'm gonna jump over here, and I might stir up something, but we're gonna see. So Facebook Watch is a streaming service like the rest of them.
They paid for the Red Table Talk. Yes,
I was like, but they have no shows except for the Red Table Talk.
They don't
Does CBS All Access?
Steve's show is coming up a little bit too. It's getting a little buzz. Steve Harvey. He's on.
Okay, but my point is, it is Facebook Watch. It is almost difficult to distinguish that between a Facebook Live,
right?
And because we've applied for Watch, and we're trying to figure out why we can't get Watch. Oh wait, we have to have. There's a different criteria for Watch. They didn't know who they wanted to be when they launched Watch the first time.
Right.
No.
So they're pushing their shows. Like they want Red Table Talk, Steve on Watch or whatever it's called, and a bunch of other
so they switch
guy. And yeah, that's what they're looking for.
And
so
sorry. Yeah, so because Watch is now like Disney Plus, such and such and such and such. Watch is one of, because I was still trying to figure out what is Facebook Watch and why are you putting stuff in my face when I go in there to do something. And Facebook Watch, you watch one video that you think you're watching somebody's replay, like our replay, then they'll throw Watch up there for you. They'll suggest something else for you to watch. And I'm like, who is this that I didn't ask for?
The thing with Facebook
Harvey's show, I agree with Anna. Go ahead.
The thing with Facebook Watch is that, or any of these things. Let's take Facebook Watch and these streaming services. Let's take podcasting or any of these things. So all of these platforms were initially intended to democratize media in a sense. So maybe Facebook Watch, not so much on that end because they were, had always reached for that celebrity thing. But, there was the, possibility that you could get your good content on Facebook Watch, right? With podcasts, it's like getting out there and getting found because the podcasting space is so saturated. That's a difficult thing. But what's happening, industries and platforms that were intended to democratize media have now gentrified media. So who are the gentrifiers? These celebrities that come in who, and I can't hate on you. You have to have several things going on. But while you have other things available to you, you can actually go in front of producers and pitch ideas and things like that. That's not something that the average creator has. So there's this whole gentrification. They Brooklynized media. Let's say that. They have Brooklynized media.
Brooklynized media. Yes, they have.
Because they come with a fan base. If Beyonce was to do a podcast, because she's got the fan base, or the Kardashians, or whoever has the fan base based on their celebrity or their knowledge of what they do in their industry or their niche, they bring the fan base with them, but it's big in the terms of Kardashians or smaller in the terms of your niche. But it's there. That's what we talk about.
It's there.
Audience, you can't, as a small business owner or someone with a brand, you can't expect to get Kardashian numbers. I'm going to do a podcast and I'm going to get Kardashian. No, you have to get.
And I don't think that should be. Exactly. I didn't mean to overtalk you, but I don't think that should be your goal either. You shouldn't be aiming for Kardashian numbers because you're not a Kardashian. You are you. And it is better to have 500, no, let's even take that lower, 100 engaged people with a following of 1,500 than it is to have 2 people that say something and you have millions following you.
Thank you.
Be you. You have to be you. You cannot be the Kardashian. Why would you want to be? You are in a totally different lane.
But that's what they want. I want to go viral.
That's our fault.
I want to go viral. I want everybody to like me on Instagram. I want everybody to watch my stories. And you can't. That's an unrealistic expectation unless you.
It's unrealistic.
Audience.
It's exactly, but the whole thing is your audience is your audience. You
Yeah.
may not get that same audience, but to me, it is way more important to have an engaged. Look at here, all the people who come every week. This is the engaged audience. These are the faithful. These are the ones who love Tech Talk and Tech Divas and Biz Chicks.
We got
These are
people
the
from
engaged people.
Italy
These are
and
the people I
England.
care about.
Yeah, we
These
got
are the
people
people
from
I care
Italy
about.
and that watch from different countries. That's
Right.
what we care
Exactly.
about the conversation. If you consistently
Exactly.
do something, you will get the audience, you will build the audience. It's a slow process. Yes, sometimes it's fast, but people want the fast track. People want microwave, instant noodles, this, that, and the other. I got a podcast. Everybody should be listening to me. And then when they get 1 or 2, they get mad, or they get 5, they get mad. You got 5.
And
That
then
consistently listen to your podcast.
so here's the thing. Why are you on there in the first place? And are you
Thank you.
resonating with the people who are you connecting with them?
Are you answering their questions?
Right. So some people, they don't engage with the 7 or 8 that come on, but they're looking for the millions. If you never take care of the 7 or 8, you're never going to see the millions. Sorry.
Exactly. They don't comment when they get a comment on YouTube or wherever. They leave it hanging. There's no response. There's no, hey, thanks for watching. What did you like about today's show or the video, or whatever? They don't try the conversation. They're like, I only got 5 likes. And they get mad. Like, what do you got? Likes?
What am I, top liver? Because I'm one of your 5 that decided to come in and check in.
Exactly. Then it's like, well, then I don't have to be one of the 5. Click. Not a problem. I can help you with that. Now you got 4.
Seriously, it's like Dr. Tachi said, the internet, social media, these platforms, podcasting, you do not have a barrier to entry anymore. You can you got a phone. It doesn't have to be an iPhone 11. You have a phone that connects and takes pictures and videos. Create a story. Tell your story. Be you. Like Tati said, be you. And do what you have to do. You are not the Kardashians. You are not Will Smith. You are not. Those people created their own brand. Will Smith made his own brand before social media and whatever, but he built it up being a good actor at what he did. So be good at your craft. Figure it out.
Let's take a look at what you just said. Will Smith has been in this before Fresh Prince, when he was back in Philly doing his rap or hip hop or whatever. He was doing that, and then he just parlayed, and as he went along, he got more and more followers, and now we just see the followers. We weren't here in the beginning.
And when he made that hit song, Parents Just Don't Understand, he thought he was big. He tells the story. He lost all his money, spending it, got broke and everything, and had to restart over. And that's when he got the Fresh Prince and became who he is. It's layers. I'm gonna keep doing this layers. Okay, I did a couple bad movies, but I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna try this movie, and then now look, Bad Boys for Life, the third Bad Boys. What is it? 20 years. They're back on top.
It's the top movie in the country right now. Top movie in the country. Yeah. I think this is another thing that you need to do in this journey in media and whatever. Stop comparing yourself to other people, because other people's benchmarks are not necessarily yours. It's good to have an idea of what's going on and what other people are doing, but don't use their benchmarks as your own. And I think in fairness, I think the reason we are all on top of this followers thing and how many followers do you have is because of advertising, because they care about it. And in order for you to get a piece of ad dollars or click dollars or whatever, you have to have X amount of followers. So we're just falling in line with what the industry has said we need to do. And the industry is doing that because they still operate on a traditional linear model. They have not evolved since the beginning of television and the beginning of media in terms of advertising. They still do the same things. So we kind of fall in line and we get bamboo. Oh, well, I need to get my followers up. I don't.
You need to say the right thing that people want to hear or need to hear. And you tell it in an entertaining way. You don't have to be a clown or what, juggle. You do it the way you want to do. Like I was saying about TikTok, get on TikTok. You don't have to dance like the kids. You get on and speak or say something or whatever it is, the people will come and find you. The people will
Right.
find you.
And if they resonate with you, they'll follow you. And
Yes.
Christy is watching us all the way from Lagos, Nigeria.
Hey,
Today.
Hey, how now?
Hey.
there you go. International is what I'm saying. The tool that we're using allows us to do that. Internet allows us to do that. Social media allows us to do that. There is you can do whatever you want right now. You have a phone to use. Use it besides, texting or games, or that's great. Take a break. Yes. Play a game. I play word games. But then I'm like, okay, I got to get back. And how am I going to do this with the phone? There's a way to do it on the phone. There's a way to say what you have to say and post it on social media, and somebody's going to see you. Promote it. If nobody here, keep promoting it. Oh, but I posted it last week. Posted it again. There's no policeman saying, well, you posted it already.
No police.
The social media police.
You're not going to annoy anybody. You do that on Twitter.
And the limits have been taken off of what you can do. The barrier has been removed. It has been disrupted because I have a background in television production, as Dr. Tachi is still in television movie productions. Before, you used to have to bring 3 big old cameras and roll them in. You got to bring people to a studio, have mics, have all the lighting and da-da-da-da-da. You got to put it in your face. You got a phone, clip it up on the thing, push play and go.
You couldn't get in this game before. It was so prohibitive for people who wanted to do this because I remember I was working when I lived in DC, and this was like in the early 2000s. We still were at the, had a lot of analog stuff, just kind of switching over to digital. And there was this guy who had a show on the public access station there. Something I can't remember the name, but I hosted a couple of segments for him and helped write the scripts for it. So he had spent so much money on equipment because this was going to be his thing. So he pummeled money into the equipment and stuff. Now next year, the equipment started to become outdated and outdated and outdated. So the whole thing is now that we've come to the point where you can use your phone as a production studio. And when, you could upgrade your phone. But even if you're not using your phone, you can rent equipment to do things now. Because of the DSLR and the mirrorless camera, you can rent for an entire week and pay maybe $100 for the week to rent this equipment and make your production. So there's really a low barrier to entry now. Whereas before, like you were saying, Francie, that we had to schlep a whole bunch of heavy cameras and stuff, and then it wasn't available to you because the costs were so astronomical. So who has an excuse now? Nobody.
Bad.
So I want to bring up Anna's comment. She said she's using a little reconditioned iPhone 6, and I have one here. I have an old 6, and you can record video 1080p HD at 30 frames per second on this old phone.
Yes, and so for the people who complain about the Apple phone and it costs too much and blah, 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 use it as a tool. I'm talking even the Google Pixel or whoever else, and we're talking about, the phones cost $1,000 and da-da-da-da. Okay, but you're getting a tool in your pocket. I'm running my real estate business. I needed to scan some documents to send to somebody. I took the phone, went click, put the thing in there's a scanner app that's on there. You scan, send it to some. I was like, before I would have had to go run back to the office, go to Pico's, go to docu somebody, go find somebody, and run all over town to get the paperwork done. Right. You don't have to do that anymore. Not with the phone.
Yeah,
so it does pay for itself.
It really
does pay for itself if you're using it properly. I think the people that I do, I'm not going to lie, I complain about the cost of phones, and I'll complain till the day is long.
You're right.
But I think that the people who really complain about it are not using it in the ways that it could be used. So you just want it because it's the latest iPhone. Well, then that's not the phone for you. Go and get something cheaper if you're just using it. But if you're intent on using it as a tool, I can understand the investment in it. But use it till you've gotten every bit of that $1,500 out of it.
Exactly.
You can buy a 6, you can buy a 7 and 8. You don't have to get the 11 to say, okay, I need to do this and that. I need to do something on social media. You can do it with a 6.
Right. And it has everything. They built everything into the phone, all of the phones, so that you really don't have to be without it. Like Anna says, she doesn't even play games on the phone, but you could. You could take a break. You can
Right.
play
That's
solitaire.
what
You
they're
can
for.
play words with friends or
Mhm.
whatever. You can take a break on the phone.
Yeah.
You can use the phone to take great pictures. All of the phones, the cameras are great, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 pixel, 3, 4, 5, whatever. The quality has surpassed the Kodak.
Yes.
Just saying.
Ooh, Kodak. That's a blast from the
that's
past.
But see,
The quality has changed.
but
I
see,
almost don't have to take my MacBook Air with me because I have the iPad and the phone. I was like, oh wait, I can leave something at home now.
see, people are getting hung up on okay, this person has the iPhone, this person has a setup, a live stream setup with all these expensive cameras. I have to do the same. No, you don't. You just use your phone, get a lavalier mic for $20
Right.
on Amazon, and you are ready to go. And if you want to
Right.
go a little extra, get the little clip-on vanity light on your phone. You can get a ring light clip-on your phone. There's your lighting. That's your studio. And you go to the races.
In your hand. The whole studio is in your hand.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because here's the thing that separates the professionals from the amateurs. These little tools. If you're just taking your phone in your hand, that's all fine and good, and you're just like this,
Yeah.
but I see you shaking, that says to me, all right, you're an amateur. But if you then turn your phone this way, you get a professional selfie stick, you're using a microphone and you're using a light, there's almost, in some cases, virtually no difference between a professional production and this. You just have to step up your game, and you should respect your audience enough to respect your to step up your game. So yeah, they will probably rock with you and ride with you through all of this, and especially if the content is good. But if you have audience members, you need to say, I appreciate you being here. Let me up my game so that you have a pleasant viewing experience.
That's right. You step it up from the phone. Yeah, don't do that. So you're gonna get a stick that holds the phone stable. You're gonna turn it landscape because you want to have the 16:9 version of video, not this version. And then you're going to put your message out and do what you need to do, and then you can buy the $1,000 camera.
Correct.
Then you step it up. You don't start out, well, I don't have a $1,000 camera, I can't do anything. What? There's a YouTube app on your phone. You can go live with that on your phone. Turn this way.
Right.
Say what you have to say in an entertaining information present, whatever it is, your voice, and you're off to the races. And here's the key: you got to keep doing it though.
And the platforms have made it easy. You can go straight to YouTube. You can go straight to Facebook. You do not have to do all of the stuff that we used to do with what was that other app called? The one that YouTube got rid of now, and we don't have to do
it. I forgot what Hangout.
Started with a G or something.
Google Hangouts.
Google Hangouts. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of work.
That was so, and I've been using it since the beginning. I'm like, there's got to be another way. So that's what all these other live streaming apps came up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hangouts was the history to where we are now, and there's been so many places that help you go live.
Many.
We've been through a lot of them, and but we can go live and still be there.
We certainly
and you don't even have to go live. You could just use the camera on your phone and say something and upload. It doesn't have to be live. It doesn't.
No, and you record it and then you post it, and you can repost it as live too. If you want to know more about that, you need to call us. But because you can repost it as live. I've seen somebody doing that. I'm like, how are you doing that? You over in that country, and this is coming up live. I'm like, oh, I get it.
So this is the thing that always is my pet peeve, is like, okay, you got the technology. You don't have to have a new phone. What is stopping people from saying, okay, I'm going to get on social media, or I'm going to post this and say what I got to say, and I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to be worried about the number of likes or somebody going to make fun of me. And that is a valid concern, the trolls and harassment. Yes, I'm not going to take that out and lie to you about that. But you are going online. You have to think about, am I can I handle this? If you can't, then don't do it. But if you can, keep rolling. Say, here, you know, I'm here to say a message, to say what I got to say. And if you want to disrupt the party, you got to go block, delete, whatever you got to do to them. And if you got to keep doing it, keep doing it. So you have to weigh that against, do I have something to say and why am I saying it? Versus the trolls and harassment. And there are tools to report it. And that, like I said, if you can't handle it, then that's a thing where you just record and upload.
Right.
Just record and upload and keep moving.
Right. And then you don't have to deal with the trolls and all of that. And it's all good. So, TJ, what we got going on in the world of social media?
Well, okay, real quick. There's Instagram is doing some things. Hold on. I think I had it up here on my desktop. That they're getting they're doing a new way to find and share stories that mention you. So you know when someone tags you, so they're putting it in a different space so you can add it to your stories real quickly. And then also they're doing something with Instagram, IGTV. They're making it easier for you to add videos to your IGTV through the process when you upload a photo. So when you hit that plus button, there'll be an option when you click a photo, it'll say, oh, you wanted to go to IGTV and stuff like that. So their Instagram is doing a lot of things with that. Twitter has emojis in direct messaging. So now in when you're direct messaging someone, you can add emojis to your messages. So that's a couple of things that's going on real quick. I know we have been talking a lot today.
Yes, it's been a good conversation. I do believe, and I hope our audience thought it was a good conversation today too. And yeah, there's a lot going on.
I mean, we needed to talk about some of the things we did because we can't talk about social media and tech and media in a vacuum. Because, like Tachi said, is people that's being left behind unnecessarily so. So there's got to be ways to expose them to ways of, okay, how do I use the technology that's available to me? Doesn't have to be top notch, the latest, the newest, but how can I use what I got to get to where I need to go? And a part of that is mindset, being able to know that you can do it and seeing it. And someone has to be there to be the thing that shows you it can be done.
Right.
Indeed.
That's the way.
So with that, we want to say thank you for tuning in. Fridays are always so lively. You know, this is not, if you're looking for snackable content, it does not happen on Friday.
That is a deep conversation.
We'll do snackable stuff maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about, stuff like TikTok and we have fun and pull out an app. And sometimes we talk about, society issues.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, and Anna's right. Watching live streamers teaches you a lot. It really does. What to do, what not to do, the little tricks of the trade and stuff. Yeah. And the people here at StreamYard, they have come out with some nice little tools that help. I was like,
green screen.
Yeah,
and you can do green screen now, which is really cool. And I'm hoping
how I'm like, oh wait. So I might have to go in there, play with that, and figure out how to create my own green screen and do some stuff. I'm like, wow, we can do this.
Yeah. You know my thing really quickly about green screen, because I think it's a great stuff to do virtual sets. But there are so many people who do bad green screen. It is terrible.
Oh my gosh. Please, Dr. Tachi, help us.
We need to talk about do's and don'ts green
screens. Yes, we talk about that.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Something happened.
Here she comes.
Oh, she's frozen?
No, she's back. Oh. So I think we do need to talk about the do's and don'ts of green screens.
She's coming back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'll be back. The do's and don'ts.
Yes.
Because some of them are bad. I've seen way bad.
I said way bad.
Just bad. I'm like, oh, that's not cute.
Okay, the green screen is supposed to enhance the visuals on the camera and not distract. I'll say that right off the bat.
Right. And maybe we need to have a tech show on how to do, do your live stream. The lighting.
Yeah.
And how to make it the best, the best practices for doing a live stream. We covered a little bit of it today. but that green screen and what your background should look like and all of that, maybe we need to talk about it.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, guys, I gotta run. I love you. I'll see everybody Monday.
Yes, and there is a workshop coming up on, but there'll be a webinar online. We had one of our guests, she talked about how to hire an intern, because a lot of us are looking to get work done, and hiring an intern is one way of making that happen.
Okay.
So we will put that information on the BizChicks page, and there will be a link. And Linus who has a background in HR will tell you how to hire an intern and why you should hire an intern. And it's probably going to make your life a little bit easier, because you can't do it all.
There you go.
You know, we try, but can't do it all. Can't do it all. All right, TJ, any final words?
No, that the conversation is good and engaging.
Lively today.
Terry started it all. She started it all.
But
I am not the techie person. Y'all know this. I don't know why you let me go down these rabbit holes. Help me out.
Yes, but sometimes we need to go down the hole and find. Let's go down and find out how far the rabbit hole goes. I have been making matrix connections all day today.
Okay. Well,
all right, everybody. Thank you, TJ. We'll see you next Tuesday again, and we'll be back for coffee thoughts, and then we'll be talking a little bit more. Look for the link on how to hire an intern.
Yes.
All righty, then. Somebody.
We wish you well. We had no idea that you had the flood. You are in our prayers. You're in our prayers anyway, but we'll send a special one up for you. And in the meantime, I want to remind everybody, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.